There's something quietly happening right now that most people, they're completely missing. The dollar in your bank account, that number you see when you log in, it has no rules attached to it. You can spend it on whatever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want. It is what economists call neutral money. It doesn't care what you buy. It doesn't care who you give it to. It doesn't expire. It doesn't know your name. Now imagine a version of that dollar that does all those things. A version that knows exactly who you are, what you bought, where you were when you bought it, and whether your behavior qualifies you to even make that purchase at all. That version of money, it's not coming. It is already here. And right now, in the background, without a single news headline, the infrastructure for the new financial operating system, it is being assembled piece by piece. And at the center of all of it, and whether it's attended that way or not, right? It's a digital asset. It's called XRP, and it's a stable coin called RLUSD. I'm going to show you throughout this video everything that has happened this week that proves that this isn't a theory anymore. And let's kick it off with the chart before we get into anything, because this is the exact setup I've been talking about. You know my stance on Bitcoin. I've made it very clear for the past 6 to 8 months at this point. Bitcoin is about to go into a corrective state. 40 to 50,000, I believe, is a very logical number of where Bitcoin's about to approach. But that still remains one question that we need answers to. What happens to altcoins? We haven't seen an altcoin rally in 2020. We didn't get an altcoin rally in this past cycle. Do we see an altcoin rally now? Well, it all comes down to one thing. Dark Defender, he's saying exactly what I do believe. As Bitcoin dominance drops down, what happens? Do we get that rotation? Do we see that money coming to alts, or are we going to see this money pull out of the market altogether? That's the million-dollar question. We don't have an answer to it just yet. But as dominance starts to break down on Bitcoin, 55% is a key level. Watch that on your chart when that breaks, especially when under 50% breaks. Pay attention to your altcoins. We already are seeing some altcoins start to move, like Zcash being one of them. Let's see what happens to the other majors. Usually Ethereum goes first. But let's kick this story off with this. On-chain data is showing something very specific that is happening right now with RLUSD. The supply of RLUSD on Ethereum, it's shrinking. But at the same time, minting of fresh RLUSD directly on the XRP ledger, it's accelerating. Interesting, right? So you're probably thinking, why does that matter? Because look, Ethereum and the XRP ledger are two very different animals. Ethereum's slow, it's expensive, and it is super, super congested. The XRP ledger, on the other hand, 3 to 5 seconds or fractions of a cent. No mining, no waiting lines. So if you're building a stablecoin that's going to be used by banks and institutions to settle actual, real financial transactions, not just trade on a DEX, you want it on the faster, cheaper, and more reliable chain. Stop. If you hold ZBEC, you need to see this right now. Tangem, they just dropped a limited edition ZBEC cold wallet. And when they're gone, they're gone. They're gone forever. They're not making anymore. This isn't some exchange. This is your keys, your crypto, a card you tap to your phone and you own it. Nobody can touch it. 6 million wallets sold, 0 hacks, 0. The ZBAC community, I know you're loud. I know you've been waiting for something like this, and it just dropped. Links down below. The second these sell out, and trust me, they will, this video, it means nothing. And here's the actual data point that really caught my attention. Binance's wallet, they just moved 160,014 RUSD between accounts and one single transaction on the XRP ledger. Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world by volume, is moving Ripple stablecoin in 6-figure chunks on the ledger. That's not retail activity. That is institutional plumbing being tested and deployed in real time. The stablecoin is finding its natural home, and that home is the XRP ledger. Now, here's where the bigger picture question comes in. Why does it matter where a stablecoin lives? Because a stablecoin, those are the programmable money layers of the new financial system. And whoever controls the rails that stablecoin runs on, they control how the rules get enforced. That's a conversation we need to have. Now, here's something that happened this week, and no one's actually framing this correctly. So the SEC chair, you probably know the man, Paul Atkins. He just asked the public, regular people like me and you, to weigh in on how the SEC should handle what he called novel ETFs. That includes your prediction market products. That includes new digital asset structures that don't fit neatly onto the old regulatory boxes. Now, on the surface, this sounds procedural, right? A regulator asking for public feedback. But I want you to think about what this actually signals here. For years, the SEC, under the previous administration, Jay, Gary, we try not to say those names around here, but they treated crypto like a crime scene. Every new product, every new structure, every innovation got a lawsuit or a denial letter. The message was clear: stay out. Paul Atkins is doing the exact opposite. He is saying, we don't know what the rules should be yet, so why don't we figure this out together? That's an open door. And for XRP specifically, that door matters enormously because the SEC lawsuit that hung over Ripple for years, it's settled. The Clarity Act is moving through Congress. The OCC has already conditionally approved Ripple's National Trust Bank charter. And the regulatory environment, it's done a complete 180. When the SEC chair is publicly asking how to handle these novel ETF products, that's the starter pistol for institutional products that are built on XRP, RLUSD, and the XRP ledger infrastructure as a whole. Spot XRP ETFs, XRP-based yield products, tokenized bonds funds, all settled on the ledger. All of it just got a green light to at least ask the question out loud. That is not a small thing. That is a regulator telling the market, hey, we're ready to build the rules together. Now, here's one that should generally stop whatever you're doing. The Reserve Bank of Australia, one of the most credible and conservative central banks in the world, they just published the final report for something called Project ARCA. Probably destroying the name, I highlighted a few. Now, this was a formal government-sponsored pilot program evaluating digital money for wholesale tokenized asset markets. Real money, real assets, real institutions. And the results, well, they're right here in the report. Hedera was used across 4 payment use cases. Redbelly was used for Australian bond exchange pilot, and Ripple, specifically XRP, was employed by a firm called ZeroCap for your government bond settlement. Yes, I said government bond settlement. Not a test, folks. Not a white paper. An actual central bank pilot program where XRP was used to settle government, or I should say government, but sovereign debt instruments, Australian government bonds, the kind of financial instrument that central banks, pension funds, and sovereign wealth funds trade every single day in the trillions. But it doesn't stop there, because RLUSD was specifically highlighted within the private stablecoin framework on the same report. The same pilot that tested central bank digital money infrastructure also explicitly called out Ripple stablecoin as a relevant private sector compliant to the public digital money layer. The report that you see on your screen, it moved beyond basic payments and it demonstrated successful settlement across fixed income, carbon credits, and asset-backed securities. That is not a payments company finding a niche. That is the foundational financial market infrastructure right there. Now, here's what makes this even more significant. Because Australia, they're not operating in isolation. Central banks around the world, they watch each other. So when the Reserve Bank of Australia publishes a final report naming specific blockchain networks as viable for government bond settlement, every other central bank reads that report. Every sovereign wealth fund, every tier 1 bank treasury desk. That door that just opened for Ripple and RLUSD is next to the next 12 to 24 months. It's not fully priced into XRP right now. And that's a problem for the people who are not paying attention. Because let's zoom out for a second. Standard Charter, a Ripple partner, a longtime Ripple partner, a 170-year-old bank with over 6.6 trillion in assets under custody. They just published a projection that there will be 4 trillion in tokenized assets on chain by 2028. $4 trillion on a blockchain in 3 years. Now that projection is split between stable coins and real world asset. Things like government bonds, corporate bonds, real estate, and commodities. But here's the line in this report that I want you to really pay attention to. Standard Charter flagged, and I'm going to quote this, established players with strong risk metrics, end quote, as the destination for institutional capital in this space. Who do you know is an established player with strong risk metrics? Who fits that description in the digital asset space right now? Ripple, with its OCC approved trust bank charter, with its NSCC membership through Ripple Prime, with its Singapore Central Bank Sandbox participation, with its Australian Central Bank pilot involvement, and over 300 institutional partners already live on the network. That is the profile of an established player with strong risk metrics here. Now, Standard Charter also cited Ondo Finance as a live example for real-world asset tokenization already in motion. In Ondo Finance, they operate on the XRP ledger. This is not a coincidence. The $4 trillion question is no longer if, it's all a matter of when. And the infrastructure that is going to move and settle that $4 trillion, it is being built on the XRP ledger right now. But here's the piece that ties this all together. And this one comes with a lot of documentation. Ripple, they can now plug directly into FedNow. That's right. FedNow is the Federal Reserve's own real-time payment system. It went live in 2023, and it now connects thousands of banks across the United States to instant dollar settlement. What this means is that any financial institution that is connected to the Federal Reserve through FedNow, which is effectively every major bank in the country, they can now access XRP-based services all through Ripple's infrastructure. The bridge between legacy banking and blockchain settlement, it doesn't require anyone to abandon the old system. You just plug into it. And we got your academic research who just published a paper about cross-border payment systems. Ripple's position explicitly describing Ripple as a fintech that traditional banks are actively collaborating with to capture blockchain-based value at scale. Not a threat to the banking system, a tool that the banking system is adopting. And now think about what that means in context of everything we talked about in this video. RLUSD migrating to its natural home on the XRP ledger, the SEC opening the door to novel digital asset products, Australia's central bank using XRP to settle government bonds, Standard Charter projecting 4 trillion in tokenized assets by 2028, and naming established players as the destination. And now Ripple with a direct integration pathway into the Fed's own payment rails. Folks, this is not a company by any means on the outside of the financial system who's trying to break in. This is a company that has been quietly handed a set of keys, and most people, they have no idea how it happened. Now look, I want to be clear about something before I close this out. I'm not saying that any of this is automatically good or bad. Programmable money, digital identity system, tokenized assets on a blockchain. All of these things, they have genuine benefits. Faster settlement, lower fees, less fraud, more access for people in developing countries who don't have bank accounts. But here's the thing that matters for you specifically right now. The financial system is being rebuilt. The plumbing is being replaced. And the companies and assets that are part of the new plumbing, the ones already inside the Fed system, already inside the NSCC, already inside central bank pilots, already named by the biggest banks in the world as the destination for institutional capital, those are the ones that benefit when the new system goes live. XRP is not a bet on cryptocurrency going up. It is a bet on being the infrastructure of the system that replaces the one you're already using. Now, whether you think that's exciting or terrifying, it probably depends on how you're positioned. Drop a like if this video made you think about money differently. Subscribe for breakdowns. Check out the links down below. Get yourself the Tangent iTrustCapital account set up right now today. It's free, folks. As always, none of this is financial advice. It never is, and it never will be. I'm not your financial advisor. Stay smart out there. Open your eyes to what's really going on. Hit that thumbs up. I'll see all y'all on the next one.